50. Carl Jung quotes that will awaken your darkest truths. Hello. If you've ever felt like there's a hidden part of you the world will never understand, you're not alone. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, spent his life mapping the depths of the human soul. His words are not just quotes. They are keys. Keys that unlock the door to who you truly are. Today, you're going to hear 50 of his most powerful quotes, each one forged in the fire of deep human understanding. And as you listen, don't just collect them. Let them disturb you. Let them challenge you. Let them burn away the illusions you've been living under. If this is the kind of truth you crave, subscribe now. Because here, we don't just inspire. We awaken. 1. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Most people think their life is shaped by luck. Jung reminds us, it's shaped by the unseen patterns inside us. What you refuse to face in yourself will control you forever. 2. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You weren't born to fit into someone else's mold. The greatest honor is to strip away the false layers and stand as your authentic self. 3. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The flaws you point out in others are mirrors. They show the shadows you deny in yourself. 4. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Your past is not a prison. You are defined by the choices you make now, not by the wounds you carry. 5. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. If you've faced your own shadows, no one can use theirs to destroy you. 6. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Stop searching for clarity in the noise outside. The truth you're chasing is waiting in the silence within. 7. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. It's easier to distract yourself than to confront the mirror, but real freedom demands the courage to see. 8. We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life. Every stranger, every situation, is just another version of you returning to teach a lesson. 9. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Self-growth isn't about pretending to be pure, it's about owning the parts you hide. 10. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Because when you do, there are no more excuses, only the raw truth of who you are. 11. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Real connection changes you. If you walk away untouched, it wasn't love, it was convenience. 12. The most important question anyone can ask is, what myth am I living? In love, we often act out old stories we've inherited from childhood. Until you see the script, you can't rewrite it. 13. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Stop measuring your relationship against someone else's. Love is not a one-size-fits-all design. 14. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. You can't fix a relationship by denying what it is. Change begins with brutal honesty. 15. Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. A crowded room means nothing if your soul is unheard. Love without deep understanding is just noise. 16. The greater the contrast, the greater the potential. Great energy only comes from a correspondingly great tension of opposites. In relationships, opposites can create friction, but that's where the fire that transforms you is born. 17. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. If love has broken you, it has also woken you. Pain is the doorway to seeing clearly. 18. The healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers. People who can't face their own wounds will bleed on those who never cut them. 19. Everything depends on how we look at things, not on how they are themselves. Sometimes love changes not because they changed, but because you see them differently now. 20. The meeting with oneself is, at first, the meeting with one's own shadow. And the person you love most will be the one who forces you to meet that shadow. 21. There is no light without shadow and no psychic wholeness without imperfection. Stop chasing perfection. The cracks in you are where the light gets in. 22. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. You can't control what you've never confronted. Walking through the fire is the only way to master it. 23. The most intense conflicts, if overcome, leave behind a sense of security and calm that is not easily disturbed. The battles you survive become your armor. Once you've faced the worst, the world can't shake you. 24. In all chaos there is a cosmos. In all disorder a secret order. Pain feels meaningless when you're in it. Only later will you see the pattern it was building. 25. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Healing isn't about erasing pain. It's about listening to what the pain is trying to tell you. 26. Suffering has been stronger than all other teaching and has taught me to understand what my heart used to be. Pain strips away illusions and leaves only the truth. 27. We deem those happy who, from the experience of life, have learnt to bear its ills without being overcome by them. Strength isn't the absence of pain. It's the ability to carry it with dignity. 28. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Your deepest scar is also your doorway to awakening. 29. Every transformation demands as its precondition the ending of a world, the collapse of an old philosophy of life. To be reborn, something inside you must die. 30. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. Without darkness, you would never know you were in the light. 31. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. The world outside can inspire you, but the truth is found only when you dare to look within. 32. The greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, only outgrown. Some problems are not meant to be fixed. They are meant to be left behind as you grow. 33. A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Your desires shape your destiny. Small dreams keep you small. 34. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. Wisdom is not about being right all the time. It's about knowing when you're blind. 35. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. Growth hurts. That's how you know it's real. 36. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. Clarity comes not from having all the answers, but from knowing which questions to ask. 37. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Your highest purpose is not to please the world, but to reveal yourself to it. 38. Life really does begin at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research. The first half of life prepares you. The second half tests what you've learned. 39. Nothing has a stronger influence psychologically on their environment, and especially on their children, than the unlived life of the parent. If you don't live your truth, your children will inherit your regrets. 40. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct acting from inner necessity. Your genius isn't in what you know. It's in what you dare to imagine. 41. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. When you've faced your own demons, no one else's can scare you. 42. The shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality, for no one can become conscious of the shadow without considerable moral effort. Your shadow isn't evil, but owning it will demand courage most people don't have. 43. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Your growth will only be as high as the depths you're willing to descend into. 44. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Distractions are the cheapest escape from the truth, but the truth always waits. 45. The acceptance of oneself is the essence of the whole moral problem and the epitome of a whole outlook on life. Once you accept yourself fully, no one can use your flaws against you. 46. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Light without shadow is a lie. Wholeness demands both. 47. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, because when you do, there's nothing left to hide behind. 48. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Control is not suppression. Control is mastery, born from confrontation. 49. The greatest tragedy of the family is the unlived lives of the parents. Generational wounds aren't healed by words. They're healed when you dare to live fully. 50. In each of us there is another whom we do not know. The day you meet that stranger inside you is the day your real life begins. You've just heard 50 of Carl Jung's most piercing truths. Not motivational fluff, not empty inspiration, but the kind of words that cut straight through the noise, down to the bone of who you are. Jung didn't speak to please. He spoke to awaken. And awakening isn't comfortable. It forces you to see the masks you wear, the shadows you hide, and the potential you've buried. If even one of these quotes shook something inside you, don't ignore it. That's your unconscious calling you to rise. Answer it. Start doing the work. Not tomorrow, not when life is easier, now. And if you're ready to keep walking this path, the one most people are too afraid to take, subscribe. Because here we don't just talk about change, we become it.